If you think you need to work 40 hours a week just to get a business started online, I'm here to tell you something. You absolutely do not. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can start a business in your part-time while you have a job, while you have kids, while you have responsibilities, and how to actually succeed. I'm going to show you step by step exactly what to do starting right now. Let's talk about something called the profit per hour revolution. So right now, you and me, we have a certain amount of time. And because you're likely watching this video and you're working in a job, you have a limited amount of time in a day to get things done with your business. So let's say you're working 8 hours in a day. That's taking up a decent amount of time. In the morning time, there may be a bit of time. In the evening time, we have some time left over. So let's say we're at 8 hours right here, and you finish your job at 5 o'clock. It means you come home. If you have a family like I do and kids and stuff like that, there's going to be 3 hours at least there where you're having dinner and also putting people to bed and stuff like that, which means by 8 p.m. kids are in bed and stuff like that. And at that moment in time, from 8 o'clock to 10 p.m., we actually have a window of time here to get things done. Now look, I'm realistic. I know you're realistic as well. I don't expect you to use all of the time in your evenings just to get your business done. So what I recommend is you take 60 minutes from here, and that's something that you invest into your business. I also recommend we look at this period of time, which I can't actually show you, but it's the period of time before work, and I would look for another 60 minutes here. Now, in my situation right now, I usually do one of the school runs in the morning. So typically, I'm leaving the house at about 8:30 or so to drop off my youngest to the minders for 9 a.m. And so what I actually have there is, if I get up at 6:30, I actually have a good hour up until 7:30. And I even have another 30 minutes there as well between 7:30 and 8, where potentially I could even do a bit of journaling or things like that that are important if those are things that you're doing as part of your morning routine. We actually have a good 60 minutes here, and we have another 60 minutes here, which means realistically, we can actually invest 2 hours per day in order to get your business started. And yes, it will be difficult at times because let's face it, we don't always want to come home in the evening and invest that 60 minutes. But here's the thing, when you think about it, that's 120 minutes per day. Let's say at the weekend, you invest 3 hours per day, which means over the course of the weekend, you're gonna add another 6 hours here. So you've got 2 hours here, and then you've got 5 days in a week, which means you've got 10 hours on Monday through Friday, right? At the weekend, you got 3 and 3, which gives you 6, which means you have 16 hours per week you can invest into your business while still having time to work in your job and bring in your income, while still having a great relationship with your family if you have a family. And also, look, there is time here to do other things, especially on the weekend. So I think one of the things you've got to accept as well is that during the week, if you're looking to start your business and you have a job, having hobbies and things like that, which are set at very specific times, not that it's impossible, but that will bring in our second concept in today's video, which is going to be the concept, and it's a really important one, by the way, of opportunity cost. OPP for opportunity. Opportunity cost is one of the least understood concepts in business, but it's one of the most important. And what it means is that, let's say you're working for 8 hours like we talked about in your job, right? So there's 8 hours of time here you're investing in a particular action. Well, you could, in a parallel universe, like Doctor Strange or whatever, you could be taking that same 8 hours and investing it into your own business, right? But here's the reality. You've got to earn an income because you probably have a family and stuff like that and have different responsibilities. So we're not going to be able to necessarily use this 8 hours to invest in our business. But that does, whether we like it or not, give us an opportunity cost, because instead of using this time to grow our business, we're using it to make an income to fund our family. And also, let's face it, right? Funding our business as well, because from here, we are getting money. We're getting paid for our time. Now, it may not be as much money as you want. And by the way, if you want to learn how to increase your income, building the kinds of businesses that we build online, jump down below and type in training, and we will send you a free training where we teach you the kinds of businesses that we start online and how to get them up and running. So training down below if you want that. But anyway, here we're getting some money for our time, but then we're investing that same money into our life and of course into our business as well. But when you understand this opportunity cost principle, it really helps you see that the 16 hours a week that we found earlier on, we're not like wasting that time. We're actually going to be investing that time really seriously into your future. And that's how, for me anyway, you start to reframe what you're doing with your time, and your time starts to become a lot more important, a lot more valuable to you as well. Because let's face it, right? The one thing they're not making any more of is time. There's always going to be more money. Well, maybe in the future not, right? But right now, there's always going to be more money. There's always going to be ways to acquire more money, but there is no possible way to get back the time that we put in. So I feel for you right now watching this video, in order to get your business going, that's what we got to do. We've got to be investing in our future, and we must make sure that the 16 hours that we have found are totally invested in your business. It's like in the stock market. If you have a pension fund, right, there is like an investment rate that people will tell you, oh, we're going to invest 90% of your funds or 100% of your funds or whatever. And the higher the rate is, the better it's going to be for you, because the more money you actually have invested, the more money you could potentially make on the other side. It's kind of the same thing here. If we miss an hour, if we miss 2 hours in a week, the opportunity cost is absolutely massive, because we're moving further and further away from where we want to be. So time is so important. So you're probably seeing it's not just about finding time, it's about maximizing what we do with that time. And when we start to move over to business, then we have another concept. And this is a really important one. And it's called EHR, effective hourly rate. Another way you can look at it is earnings per hour as well, but essentially it's your effective hourly rate, right? How much do you get paid for the time you invest into whatever you're doing right now? So let's say, for instance, you're getting paid, I'm just going to pick some simple numbers, right? $3,000 a month, pounds, euro, whatever, right? That's what you're getting in your hand. And let's say you worked 30 hours a week, so you worked 120 hours over the course of the month. You got paid 3,000 in your hand. So you can essentially divide 120 into 3,000. And that means your EHR, in this case, is $25 per hour, right? So your goal now is going to be eventually to take this 16 hours of investment we're putting in to get our business started. And we're just looking to initially match this $25 EHR, but here's the important point. We want to match that without like literally just being there, doing an hour and getting paid for an hour. And why is that important? Because if we make anything less than $25 per hour, we may as well be working in the job. Now, it depends, because if you were making 25 bucks an hour, but now you could work from home, you can choose your hours. That, let's face it, can be a better situation, because now you have a little more freedom, but you're not completely free, right? And the reason you're not completely free is because you still have to put in some labor time to make this $25 an hour. So what we're looking to do is find a model whereby we can invest some of our time initially, which leads to money. We then reinvest that money back into an asset, and then that asset must be able to make an income, but the income that's generated cannot be related back to time again. So an example of where this could be actually related to time, but it could kind of work for you, is let's say, for instance, you learned a skill, and that skill enabled you to increase your EHR from, let's say, $25 here up to $100. And so for making $100 per hour now, well, if we work 30 hours, we will make the same amount of money that we would have made previously. So if 1 week's work now equals what we used to make, great, you've freed up 3 weeks of time now, which is good, but you haven't actually increased your income at all. So some people, this model right here, is important. And by the way, in the comments down below, let me know, what are you looking for more? Are you looking for something where you've got more skill-based income? Are you looking for something that's more freedom-based income? So you can type in skill for skill-based, or freedom for I want more of a business that like I'm not tied into working particular hours. I'd love to know down in the comments. That's one way we can do it. But what most of us want is this asset piece right here, because that can look like a lot of different things, right? The simplest thing of all, though, is a product. That's going to be one of the simplest ways to be able to get something up and running while you're in your job, and it won't hurt you quite as much, and it can really make you some significant income where you're not going to be sitting there working all day long. Because if you think about it, let's say you take a physical product, or you could have like a digital product. We'll make this one 3D because it represents a 3D object, and we'll make this one 2D because it's digital, right? So we'll put D here for digital, and we'll put P here for physical. Well, like, here's the nice thing. If you find a way to get people, to get your physical product in front of people, and they have a problem and they want that product, they then buy the product from, let's say, like a website or Amazon, for example. You make some money from this product, right? When you think about it, if you're outsourcing like the shipping part, so let's just, I don't know, we'll put a ship here, but we're not actually relating to an actual ship on a boat. We're shipping it out to the customer. I can't actually draw warehousing and packing. It's too difficult. Well, we're in a good situation because actually we're making money here. And what we have got to figure out in this situation is this part here, the traffic component. That's going to be our big question. Because if we use advertising or we use a platform like Amazon, we can get in front of these customers by utilizing a system, a way to either pay money or go onto a marketplace like Amazon and get in front of their customers. That's a great idea, and it's a great way to actually start to make some money. Equally with a physical product, we're pretty much in the same position, right? There's people out there who have particular problems they're looking for solutions to, right? So let's say someone's on the keto diet, for example, and they're looking for a keto recipe system or something like that. I just pick a random example. No one does keto anymore, probably, right? But anyway, you are able to now have like a sales funnel or whatever, or like a one-page thing where it has like a video and then it has like a button to go ahead and buy it. And then once that person goes, yep, that solves my problem, they then order the product from you, and again, money is created. Now, what often you'll see from the guru folk out there on the internet is they will tell you this has no freedom, this has loads of freedom. And here is the reality of the situation. Both of them contain a piece of freedom, but actually if you're looking for the thing that has the most freedom possible, it's actually physical products. Now, I'm here talking to you and I'm showing you something. So I'm taking my time, right? I'm like the guy here, I'm taking my time to make a video, tell you about it. And then for you as well, if you see value in what we're talking about, you may choose to come along and grab one of our trainings, learn how we sell on Amazon, and pay some money. So I'm like that person down here, right? Obviously, I'm involved in this kind of thing up here as well. We have lots of different things that we do on Amazon, right? But at the same time, I guess in this current moment, I'm more like this number two. This has taken my time, and it's also taken me, my face, you getting to know me in order for us to make money here. Whereas this one right here, if we sell our products on Amazon, wholesaler arbitrage, of which we do, no one knows who we even are. No one cares who we are because we have this product part here. And we actually, with those two models, we're selling well-known brands that people already know and love, which makes it even easier to make sales. Now, obviously, when it comes to profit, the profit on this top part, if you're doing, say, well, that's hilarious, isn't it? Wholesaler arbitrage, that kind of worked as well. We used it for something else a minute ago. The margins are good, but the big thing is the ROI. That's what you want to look at, your return on your investment, because that directly relates back to the effective hourly rate conversation that we had, right? Because here, we're making anywhere from 15 to 30% or more, of course, return on investment. For every dollar, pound, or euro we put in, we get paid. If it's $1, we get $1.50. $1.15 to $1.30. So we've grown our money by 15 to 30% after all expenses are paid. That's great because we didn't have to be in there making the sales because we used a marketplace or we used paid ads or whatever to make those sales. You see? This second model, look, the margins, people will tell you, are way better and all that. You sell something digital, you're going to be making 80 to 100%. I here to tell you something. When you're starting out, maybe, But when you grow, absolutely not. Because in this case, to do this part right, this part being the traffic component here, you need to run advertising to do that. So that's going to be your biggest direct cost in that business right there. And if you're running a business like Marketplace Superheroes, where we're teaching you all these great things and we've team and all of that, we've got big overheads. We've got a 5 to 6 figure monthly overhead in this training business. So it's not like if I bring you into a program, we just make a ton of money. It actually does not operate like that. There's costs in pretty much every single business. And if someone tells you otherwise, they're full of shit. So we're going to choose a model that makes sense to you or whatever, and whatever that is, that's great. And if it's what we teach, fantastic. If it's something else, great. I hope this video is giving you value. And if it is, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. But really, all of this, right, as you're getting some time free, you're choosing a model that makes sense to you, the next thing to consider really here is going to be the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto Principle, which basically is going to tell you, right, in that 16 hours a week that you have, 80% of your results are going to come from just 20% of those actions. You've probably heard of this before. And I would say that this is critical, because the big thing you're going to need here to make any of this work for you in your 16 hours is you're going to need a process that you can follow. But the bigger thing is you want something, and this is vital, you want a process that's proven. Especially if you're an online beginner. I wasted so much time early on in my journey thinking to myself, I have to figure it out. Because that's what we've all been told. It's only valuable if you come up with it, or it's all about the idea or whatever. Look, to make your first income online, especially like part-time, you don't need to invent anything. All you need to do is find a proven process that makes complete sense to you. And whatever that is, like, I'm not going to tell you what it is for you. I don't know you. Obviously, we teach here at Marketplace Superheroes different things. We're mostly known for selling on Amazon, but we are starting to teach other stuff as well. But the point is, whatever that process is going to be, you want to make sure that it's someone has just gone and figured it all out for you. And yeah, you're going to pay some money to acquire the process. But remember, that's what you're doing. Whenever you buy any kind of training online, you're literally trying to buy a process. And your only job then for the next year to 18 months is just execute on whatever that process is, whoever it is you're listening to. And I would highly recommend when you're doing that, yes, absolutely, you can listen to other things and take inspiration from other ideas. But what I would not do, and this is a big mistake that I made, is I got myself really just caught up trying to do too many things. Yes, I would have bought multiple different programs and learned, but ultimately I was following 1 to 2 main tracks. And for most people, one track realistically is all they're going to be able to do. So in the case of Marketplace Superheroes, it's Amazon, mostly, right? At the time I'm speaking to you. So that's what we teach our students to go all in on. For you, it could be something else. I don't know. But you've got to really look at this 80-20 thing and realize I have limited time. I've got limited resources. So you're always asking yourself that question. What is the 20%? What is it? Because once you know that, that's what's going to lead you to a lot of results, because you're not going to be wasting your time doing stuff that is not moving the needle. Because what we're all in search of at the end of the day, we're all in search of this word called leverage. Basically just means the simple actions that are going to make our results come a lot easier and faster and with less complication. So that is absolutely critically important to you as well. And so whatever it is you're doing, always ask that question. And I don't know what your current situation is. I don't know what you're trying to do right now. So I can't tell you, but if I did know, I definitely could. So as we get to wrap up today's video, I want to kind of cover your job, because a lot of people will tell you, oh, your job's killing you and blah, 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 blah. Look, a job at the end of the day, you should start seeing it as a source of income, which I'm sure you do. Maybe you're not happy with that income, but actually this is the first step towards getting freedom, right? Why? Because it gives us an investment fund of some sort. And if you're in a situation where you have no money left, or what they used to say, too much month at the end of the money, right? You want to look at that and you want to start asking yourself, okay, I've got to do one of two things. I've either got to make more money by taking a second job or learning a skill or something like that, like we mentioned earlier, or I've got to cut expenses and then free up income, free up investable capital. Because the mistake that we all made, and I made it for a long time, was I used to think to myself, well, if I just cut my way to wealth, that it's possible. It's actually not. You literally have got to focus on making more money. That's the only way you're going to get to where you want to go. Cutting your expenses can be a fantastic step forward, but if you truly want to be out of a job and having a business, this has to be your big focus. And I got news for you. The one word here is investment. You're going to be investing. You're going to be taking your money and putting it into something. If you are trying to start a business with no money down at all, you're going to basically chase after phantoms for a long, long time. Whereas when you're prepared to actually invest something into a proven process you know is working, and you have support from people, whoever that may be, that's the best way as a beginner, like the bowling alley approach to having success. Could you go and figure out a brand new idea on your own? Yes. Have people done it? Yes. But they're the outliers. They're not the normal. You actually want to find something boring that just makes money. That is like the best way to start as a beginner. That's why I got so excited on my journey when I found selling on Amazon, because it made the most sense to me. I've done all kinds of things since then, and I continue to do, but that was the thing that actually gave me my start. And it's the thing I still recommend to people starting out, because it does a lot of the hard work for you. The traffic is already there, right? People are already buying. If we're selling items that are already well known, people don't have to wonder who are Hot Wheels. They're looking for Hot Wheels products, right? So it's a lot simpler when we look at it that way. So when you now start to look at your job as your source of income, you free up your time during the week, you make your investments, you find your process, you just execute on that process. That's how you will start something in your spare time and actually build something of value. So I hope you love this video, and make sure to comment training down below if you haven't already, if you want to grab some training about how we build these businesses on Amazon. And also do give the video a like, please subscribe to the channel, and watch this video next. And I hope to see you in the next one.